Hey Algebra 1, here we are still in Chapter 2. We are looking at Section 2.3. We're going to be multiplying rational numbers. And the cool thing about this section is that it's just one basic rule, no vocabulary really to speak of. The rule we need to keep in mind as we look at this first example is that when you multiply two numbers, any kind of numbers, rational, irrational, integers, whatever, when you multiply two numbers and the signs are the same, your answer is going to be positive. Okay? If you multiply two numbers and the two numbers are different, then the product will be negative. So same positive, different negative. Here we're multiplying a 4 times a negative 5. We know that 4 times 5 is 20. The sign is negative. The answer is negative 20. Here we're multiplying a negative times a negative. Since notice that the two signs are the same, so my answer is going to be positive, and I just need to figure out what 12 times 14 is, and I think it's going to be 168. I believe that's the case. I should do it for you. Boom, there's the proof. All right, so we get a positive 168. Let's look at this next example. We're going to simplify this expression. So again, whenever we simplify an expression, we're thinking about the order of operations. So here we're going to multiply first, and when I do that, I get 4 times negative 3, which gives me a positive times negative is a negative. 4 times 3 is going to be 12, so I get a negative 12y minus 15y. So you know this is really just you taking two numbers. This is really the same as negative 12 minus 15. In the last video, I would tell you to change it to keep, change, change. And the rule says that when you are adding two numbers with the same sign, it stays the same and you just add. So we would have a negative 27. So this is my thought process, right? That's what I'm thinking. So realizing that this is really an analogous relationship, it's pretty much the same thing. I know that I'm going to keep, change, change, and I'm going to get a negative 27y for my answer. All right. Here with example 3, we're going to multiply rational numbers, and we know rational numbers can be used to refer specifically to fractions that we have here. Remember, the rule for multiplying fractions is a over b times, let's say, some fraction c over d. We're just going to multiply straight across a c over bd, and we're done. And so we're going to do that here. But first, let's observe the sign. We have a negative times a positive, and so when we have a negative times a positive, we know that those two signs are different, and therefore our answer will be negative. Now, I'm just going to proceed as I would. 3 times 3 is going to be my numerator, and my denominator will be 4 times 8. With a little bit of fancy calculation, I get negative 9 over 32, and there's no simplification that I can do. That's my answer. And let's check this out. Example 4, we're going to multiply rational numbers to solve a problem. Here we are. Fenway Park, home to the Boston Red Sox, is the oldest ballpark in professional baseball. It has a seating capacity of about 34,000. Determine the approximate total ticket sales for a sold-out game. So basically, we're looking at selling out all of the seats, 34,000. The average price is $14.91. And I wish this were a more interesting problem, friends, but it's not that interesting. We're going to multiply 34,000 by $14.91 to get 506,940, and that would be the approximate ticket sales. And so we multiplied some rational numbers there. All right, let's take a look. We're going to evaluate an expression given some information. So let's see, we're going to evaluate n squared times negative 5/8 if n is equal to negative 2/5. So n squared, let's replace 2/5 or negative 2/5 with n squared. And we're going to multiply that by negative 5/8. And I would not typically do all of what I'm about to do here, but I'm going to just write it out like this. Notice I'm writing the n value, or the negative 2/5 twice, and I'm going to multiply that by a negative 5/8. Can you tell me what the sign of the answer would be here? Negative times yet another negative. Now here's the thing. I said earlier that when you multiply numbers with the same sign, your answer is going to be positive. I should have said if you multiply two numbers with the same sign, your answer is positive. So with that in mind, when I multiply these two guys together, I'm going to get a positive answer. But then I'll be multiplying a positive times a negative, right? Now I'm multiplying these two numbers and the signs are different. My answer is ultimately going to be negative. All right. I don't know. I don't want you to miss that. So when you're multiplying two numbers and both of the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If you're multiplying two numbers and the signs of those numbers are different, your answer is negative. All right. So positive this times a positive that is going to be 4 over 25. Remember, we're multiplying numerator times numerator and then denominator times denominator. And we're going to keep that trend moving. So that's a positive 4/25 times a negative 5/8. And I'm going to do my thing. 4 times 5 is 20. I know my answer is negative, so I'm going to stick that there. 4 times 5 is 20, and 8 times 25 is like 200. Am I making that up? If I had 8 quarters, that's like $2, right? Everybody with me? Y'all walking down my street? Good. And now this thing could be reduced. And so I end up with a negative 20 over that is really going to be 1/10. When I looked at this, I realized I could have done some cross canceling like here. 4 goes into itself one time, 4 goes into 8 two times, and 5 goes into itself one time, yet 5 goes into 25 5 times. And you can see 1 times 1 gives me 1, and 5 times 2 gives me 10, and we've got that negative there. So we can feel confident about our answer. And we got some guided practice, which looks a little bit like what you guys are going to be doing for your assignment. I don't see anything here that really warrants me chit-chatting about it. So I'm going to end this video like that. I hope you guys are doing all right. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.